Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
This one, you can put your name properly without any mistakes. If you have to check the stroke and yeah, so we thought overbooking is a common challenge for hotels around the world, and we wanted to bring this issue to see how W Santiago deals with when they have overbooked, rooms are overbooked. And to begin with, maybe you can tell us whether when overbooking happens, whether there is a double policy global around the world, or is it just Chile, Santiago management that has its own policy, and what is about a little bit the overbooking was about. This is just a class project, so don't worry about publicity.
no, it's perfect. Actually, the overbooking, instead of seeing probably earlier, we used to see this kind of thing as an issue, but no longer. Actually, now we see it as a window of opportunity. Well, why? Because the more you get willing to overbook, the actually better you overfill. So what we actually try to do over here is that we establish, especially even on the season, day of the week, demand, and all these kind of specific things, we take them into account in the revenue management system that we use within the throughout the company. And we establish some values that we are allowed to oversell for every single day in the next 550 days, which are our systems, well, that's the period that we can actually book. So all of these values are established, and what we do is that we consider several factors as cancellations, no-shows, and all of these, we take them into account in order to realize what the most important figure here is, which is called wash. The wash is the sum of all your cancellation, early departures, no-shows, and change of dates, reservation time. Okay, so the sum of all of these is the factor that we take into account in order to realize how many nights or how many rooms are we allowed to oversell. In this particular hotel, we cannot oversell as much as we want, given all the different room categories that we have. In total, we have 3 different categories, but 8 different room types. So it's kind of hard to overbook. If you cannot overbook, or you traditionally don't overbook upscale rooms. That's kind of complicated. Also, being the first place, the first or the best rated hotel in town, also you cannot be willing to overbook that much, because there's only so much you can do to allocate guests in other hotels which are like the same category. So it's a common practice, and there is no specific company-wide. There is no specific rule or specific policy to walk guests into the event that you manage to overbook more than you should. What we do is that we traditionally, 1 week in advance, we start looking at the potential wash, if it was out of control for some reason, and we start looking at our options. In this case, for example, all other 5-star or luxury hotels in the city, and what's their availability, which are the rates that they're willing to charge, and in that case, we start analyzing the potential walk again that we could have. So it's a common practice, and it's becoming more common because in that way we can actually manage to sell more, and it goes straight to your average daily rate, straight to your GOP, straight to your EBITDA. So actually, it's a very, very common practice that we continue developing, but especially now, all the revenue management systems and technologies are taken into account in order to find that exact number that your wash will be.
So do all the W hotels use the same revenue management system, but
All
then
the
the variables, all the Starwood hotels?
All Starwood hotels. Actually, within the Starwood hotels, they're basically like, as a revenue management system, we just use one of them called Top Line Profit Enterprise. That is not a Starwood software, that is an software. As far as I know, there is only one major hotel company that uses it as well. And what we do is that we take into account all our historic data in order to come up with figures that will determine how much are we allowed to overbook or what's the ideal number that we can actually take into account. But yes, all of the over 1,000 hotels around the globe that are affiliated with Star Hotels and Resorts is Yale.
When did you buy that program?
I mean, the installation is usually, the rollout for this system was about 4 years ago, but hotels had to be open for at least 1 or 2 years before they can take this into account. Yes, because you must have historic data that is solid enough in order to start forecasting all these kinds of things. I mean, this is just 1/100 of the things that the system actually does.
Have you found, like, how much, can you give us a sense of how much it's affected your bottom line? Like, how much it's increased profits using the system?
Definitely. I mean, there's not like, it depends also on different regions across the globe, also in different countries it's different. But the figure that could be impacted through the first stage of the installation of our revenue management system is an increase of 1.8% in our repertoire.
Sorry, can you say that again?
The increase in our repertoire, it's 1.8%. That changes through regions, everything, but it's 1.8% of increase in repertoire when we start using the first phase, because there are several phases of our revenue management system. But with the first phase, there's an increase of 1.8. When we achieve the four phases of our revenue management system installation, then the increase is within 5 and 6% of increase in repertoire.
Repertoire, is that revenue? Sorry.
Repertoire is the revenue per available room.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
And that's like the main index that we can actually compare.
Okay.
Outside the, in the rooms revenue category, our repertoire, that's like the go-to.
Just from a customer point of view, when a customer comes to your client that the room is overbooked, what kind of reaction do you get? And when you put them in another hotel, as you mentioned, do they complain? Are they okay with it? Do they think it's normal? Just from a customer perspective, how do you manage that? Do you send them wine? Or just, because of course, retaining customers is something important to the outside.
Sure.
So if you do some activities specifically in that area.
It's never to this kind of thing. However, to be honest, it's not that common. It's not that common that you actually end up walking someone. It's more common that you end up walking someone to another hotel, given that you have a technical issue with a room or something like that. But due to strategy, it's very, very common that you end up walking it, because usually our systems are well clean and it is well maintained. The error factor that has our system is 0.07%. So it's minimum. You end up walking probably one guest out of, 20, between the range of 20 and 25,000 reservations. So it's not very common. If it ends up happening, basically what we do is that we take one of these five-star hotels, hotels, and we need to offer some sort of compensation, probably for a future stay, or we offer to bring them back for the next day. This is a very, very common practice in all hotels. In order not to affect, this not only affects revenue, but also loyalty. And that's like the most important thing that you have to be very So,
I think that's great. Yeah, that's like a ton of information. That's perfect. Great. Yeah. Thank you.